Good Friday morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Today is a good Friday. That's right, man. Friday before Easter. All right. So glad to have you. It is April 15th, 2022, and welcome to our Friday morning meeting. Especially good morning to all of our new folks here, our attendants. Lots of them here today. We got a good house today, Steve.
Packed house day.
We do, no doubt. So this morning, let's start off. Let's go on up to Pittston, Pennsylvania. Let's start out east. We have Mr. Rick Gifford.
Hey, happy Easter.
No kidding. You guys are having a good Friday up there.
Yeah, we got a good crowd. We got a really, really good crowd.
Did you find the Easter bunny yet, Rick? Is that why you're so excited?
He was delicious.
Somebody's always got to ruin it. Thanks, Rick. What's going on up there in Pittston?
Awesome crowd this week. We had a great orientation, and we had several PSDs, TNTs come through. The pad is up and running live. It's really, really going up here.
Good to see, man. Are you wearing shorts this morning?
I am wearing shorts. It's that time. It's summer.
Summer in PA. All right. So how's the orientation class this week?
Again, they were awesome class. We had probably 20, 30 people through orientation. Really nice class.
Good to see, man. So if you have any questions up there, make sure you let us know.
You guys are awesome. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you too. Happy Easter to all of you too as well. So let's go out west. Salt Lake City, Utah. We got Mr. Troy Rich out there.
Good morning. Live and proud from Salt Lake City.
On a good Friday, nothing better.
How are you?
We're doing good. I think you got that noise piped in somehow. I'm still believing that. I don't see any folks out there. I see one leg, I think, in your picture. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it. If I could turn the camera, you'd see all of our beautiful people, but you don't get to do that here. But yeah, we got a good crowd of people here. We got a bunch of PSD students and some A, Bs, and C seats here too. So we got a little mix of everybody here.
Good deal. I see you're not wearing shorts yet, so it must not be too warm out there.
It snowed yesterday. It's we're supposed to get for Easter. We'll probably be about 55 is all. So, but yeah, we've had snow off and on all week here still. So, yeah, welcome to Utah, man. That's the way it is out here. You never know.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's Mother Nature in general. We're getting some strange weather, no doubt. So, hey, if you got any questions, Troy, let us know. We'll get you on the mic, and happy Easter to all you folks out there, and take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, back here in Springfield, how you all doing this morning? Yeah, I think no doubt we won this one. There's no doubt about that one. That's right, man. 100%. Wow. So good job, everybody. So, yes, welcome back. I'd like to take this time. I know I mentioned it earlier, but if you're a new associate here at Prime this week, if you're in Pittston, you're in Salt Lake, or you're in Springfield, if you could please stand and be recognized, we'd love to give you a round of applause. All right, this morning up here joining me, I have Steve Fields. Steve's our safety director here. And by the way, if you don't know my name, I'm Dave White. I'm sure most of you don't know. So we both are working the safety department. Steve's our safety director. He leads us. And I'm just going to turn the mic over to you, Steve. What do you want to say, man? Go ahead.
Okay. You got trouble, Dave?
Oh, no. Oh, that ain't Mitch. Oh, boy. Something's up here.
There is. It just seems like everyone's in a super good mood today, which makes me really happy. I always try to be in a good mood, but there's just a lot of good stuff going on at Prime right now. This has been a big week for us. Dave is going to talk about a few of the events that we had, but we had the privilege of honoring a number of our drivers for different events this week. We've got a big, fantastic group of new drivers. And for you folks in the yellow vest, you're our future. We really, really need you. We're glad you're here. I was talking with Michael and Melissa over there before the meeting, and they had been in healthcare for 30 years. And time for something different was the take that I took, and they researched us. I believe they said it took them 7 months to make a decision, but they worked through Don Bell, one of our recruiters, and they're both here as PSDs. And my point is, all of you've entrusted us with your future, and we're not going to let you down. We've been around 52 years. We continue to grow. That's why you're so important to us. It's important that we grow. Our customers look to us. America looks to us to move freight out there for people to eat, for pharmaceuticals, for building supplies, for tanker materials that go in food products, for animal products. It's just so important that trucking stays strong, and really truckers are what got us through COVID. It's the reason when people were working from home or staying at home that they could sneak out and go to Walmart or Target or Hy-Vee and the shelves were stocked. It was because of truckers. And for the new folks, we welcome you here. You're entering a challenging, a difficult industry. It can be somewhat dangerous, but we're going to give you the best equipment, the best training. We're going to give you everything that we possibly can. And I'll just ask that when you're here, you listen. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to push back, but your instructors and your trainers, they're the best of the best, and they know what they're doing. And sometimes you may disagree with them and ask about that, but please listen to them. They're going to talk about speed, following distance, not being distracted in the cab, things that are so important to being safe out there. So again, for our new folks, welcome. We're glad you're here. You're entering this industry at a great time. Don't be concerned about autonomous trucks or platooning or stuff. America is always going to need good, safe truck drivers. I'm sure of that. It's just always going to be the case. So welcome. We're glad you're here. If any of us can help you, just please let us know, and we wish you the best of luck.
No doubt. Good point there, Steve. If you look around, the old saying, if you got it, a truck brought it, that's still true today. If you just look around here and you figure out what's something that a truck did not touch in this room, it'd be really hard to pick out one or two things that trucking wasn't involved in. And that's what it comes down to. It's a backbone of this economy. And we're glad you're here. We're glad you're dedicated. I appreciate you coming in on Easter week. I know this is the beginning for many of you. Trucking is a tough gig. It's tough, number one, because you're away from your family. If you got family back home, if you got young kids, or you're married and working on the kids' part, it's tough to be away from home and be away from your loved ones. If you're single, a little bit easier to be out there because doing your own thing, trying to find out what you want to do in life. But hopefully you have the passion and the gumption and the understanding, and just stick with this business, because this is a fun company. You can already see this morning, they surprised us with the Easter Bunny coming up here. Steve and I had no idea the Easter Bunny would be visiting this morning. And obviously I think the Easter Bunny moseyed on down the hallway to the daycare where the kids are, which they'll have more fun with them than we would. But but we like to have fun here. There's no doubt about it. This is a fun company. We do fun things. And we'll talk about some of those here that we already did this week and some that are coming up. But first, let's talk a little bit about safety. How's that go? So Troy already mentioned snowing out in Utah, snowing out in Salt Lake. That is true. I've got a few phone calls this week, drivers asking about chain questions. Hey, do I still need to have my chains on the truck? Yeah, you do. Really, you do. Donner Pass up in California, we had a couple drivers up there that are chaining up this week because they needed to. You don't have to chain up here at Prime. That's up to the driver. It's up how you feel. If you want to stop and wait it out, all we ask you talk to your fleet manager. But it's still that time of year. Make sure you have chains on your truck. Colorado on I-70 west of Denver, they're still checking for chains up to May 31st. I know some states like Colorado has May 31st. State of Washington has up to April 1st. Well, we're past April 1st, but if there's chains needed in the state of Washington because of snow, they're not going to let you go because you don't have chains. They're going to stop you and until you can get chains, or you wait it out till the roads get better. So just a big shout out to all of our drivers. Make sure you got chains on your truck. Make sure you're taken care of. And really, if I was a driver nowadays, I'd keep them on all 12 months so you don't have to worry about it. No matter where you go, you're always legal. And if you want to use them, that's fine. If you don't, you just park and wait it out until the roads get better. So that's up to you. Our inspections this past week, we had 116 DOT inspections. 84 of those were clean, so a 72% clean rate on inspections. Give yourself a round of applause. That's a good number, no doubt. National average, well, we talked with DOT, I said most carriers average around that 35% clean inspection rate. Well, we're at 72 this week, and this whole year we've been mid or upper 60s, low 70s the whole year so far. So we're doing good. Those clean inspections is what drives our safety numbers. And besides that, for you, having those clean inspections pays you money too as well. So $100 to independent contractors, owner operators, and $25 for company trucks. So appreciate what you do on those. Let's keep those going as well. Anything you want to say before we jump into our what we did this week?
No, let's talk about this week, Dave.
So,
you got some information on that.
So we did on Monday night. We're proud. If I can get my paper opened up here, there we go. We had a good time Monday night with the Highway Diamonds Award, which are really Highway Diamonds Gala, we call that, where all the ladies get dressed up, and so do the guys. Many of us wore ties and all that good stuff, and had a little event over here at the Oasis. Pretty good crowd showed up, no doubt. Here at Prime, we're talking about female drivers. 15% of our fleet is female drivers here at Prime. National average is 7.8. So big kudos to our ladies out there that drive up and down. Yeah, no doubt. Give them a round of applause. That's a guy we need to bring in our marketing department right there. That's right, man. He's all over it. All right, thank you. Look at this, Steve. That's my basket. I don't know where yours is, so thank you. Do I hand it out? All right, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Start over here. I'll let you guys pass it around. Keith, you want me the gatekeeper of the candy? You just take it around, everybody gets a piece of candy. What's that? Is today your birthday? Yesterday, come on up here. So we're going off script again. We really don't have a script, but go ahead. What's your name?
Jacob.
Jacob, you work for Prime?
Yes.
All right, what do you do?
Reefer.
Reefer division, lease driver? Who's your fleet manager?
Justin Mills.
You like Justin? Good guy, good deal. So how long you been at Prime?
It'd be 2 years in July.
All right, well, thank you for your service.
The company at flatbed for a year and then switched to reefer about a year ago almost.
All right, good deal. So you ventured out in both divisions. Which one do you like the best? Reefer, obviously?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good deal. So, hey, yesterday was your birthday?
Yeah.
Turned 21? Okay. I was guessing. There you go. Happy birthday, Justin. Way to go, man. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being Easter Bunny. You did a good job. And thanks for the candy. That's more important, man. That's what it's about, no doubt. It's not right, is it? That's what it's about. Yeah, I hear you. So anyway, let's go back to the Highway Diamonds Gala we had Monday night. Like I said, 15% of our drivers are ladies. 7.8 is the national average. So we did really well. Steve, we had a couple awards we gave out. I shouldn't say we. Brooke Mosley gave them out.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, Brooke gave out the Emerald Award, which went to Lisa Miller. Lisa's been driving in our fleet for over 10 years here at Prime. Million-mile safe driver. Lisa is Brian. If anybody knows on the flatbed side, we got Brian Brown works in our sales division on flatbed. That's his sister. So great to have her. Great award. And she was the Emerald winner. And our overall Highway Diamond of the Year went to Emily Plummer. And many of us know Emily. She's been here. Oh, yeah, give her a round of applause. No doubt. Emily's been here 22 years here at Prime. Over 3 million safe driving miles, and she is a wonderful person. So is Lisa. Both of them are outstanding, and we're very proud to have them and culture our event as well and attend it and do a fabulous job like they do. But big shout out to all the ladies that went there. Hopefully everybody had a good time. I know I did. The food was awesome. The drinks were awesome.
Good night.
It was, yeah, no doubt. So the next day, we were fortunate enough to go up to Jefferson City. We had our Missouri Truck Driving Association Driver of the Month for 2021. And we were able to recognize, I'm sorry, did you get those pictures up, Brianne? Okay, thank you very much. We're able to recognize our Drivers of the Month for 2021 with a luncheon. We're so fortunate Robert Lowe went with us, our owner, and so did Steve Woodkey, our Vice President of Sales. So it was a fun time. February Driver of the Month was Thomas Miller, who you'll see up here on our screen. Thomas has 22 years there at Prime, 3 million mile safe driver. He was an ATA road team member as well. He also won back in 2016 Missouri Truck Driver of the Year for Prime. And he runs primarily solo overall. Thomas, I look back at his last 6-8 months of loads. He runs mainly Midwest, Mideast area of the country. His fleet manager up there is Stephen Ray. Stevens is to Thomas's right or our left. And to Stephen went, all the fleet managers for the drivers went as well. So it's great having him up there. Let's look at April driver of the month, and that would be Jesse Dennis. Jesse has been at Prime here for 10 years. He's got 1 million safe driving miles. His fleet manager, again, Stephen Ray. Stephen's not in this picture. Now, Jesse, when he drove here, he had to take some time off. His dad's in bad health, and so he had to go out to Arizona. He had to turn in his truck, so he's no longer driving with us currently at this time. Back in 2021, he was, though, so he'd go out and take care of his dad. But sometimes those family issues do come up for all of us, and we got to do the right thing, and Jesse's definitely doing the right thing, taking care of his father. But at the time, he trained TNT students. So Jesse would take anybody out on his truck, or that was a TNT student, he'd run all 48 states, and he'd train them up and get them ready to get their own truck, and did a fabulous job for us. So hopefully we'll get Jesse back here later on this year, and he can continue running for us. I know he wants to come back, so he misses the road, no doubt about it. Our June driver of the month was Charlie Conlee. Charlie's here. He's got his arm kind of wrapped around Robert a little bit, but Charlie's the second one in from the left. Charlie's been at Prime 28 years. He's a 4 million mile safe driver. Also runs dedicated hazmat loads for us. So Charlie does the hazmat side on the reefer division. 28 years, no doubt about it. He's done a great job for us. He's a very safe driver. His wife, Brenda, works in our payroll department. Brenda went with us as well up to Jefferson City. Up in that picture, the guy wearing the pink shirt there, that's Cole Baldus, the kind of big guy in the middle there with the beard. That's Charlie's fleet manager. And Cole was there celebrating with us as well, so I had a good time. And our July driver of the month was John Valentine. John's been with us 32 years, 4 million mile safe driver again. John's wife was Kathy. She attended as well. Now, John's on the flatbed side. He's been in flatbed all 32 years, runs everywhere. Right now, he's on a dedicated. He hauls boats for us, so loves that too as well. Brian Stoll is with him there in the middle as well. So Brian's a fleet manager on the flatbed side, and them and Brian have been paired together for many years. So, and I know Brian said he loves John, no doubt about it, does whatever is needed. So August driver of the month, and you can see we had 6 of these driver of the month, so we're doing pretty good here. 6 out of the 12 months we won in Missouri. So August is Victor Blackburn. So Victor's here in the picture. He's standing next to Steve Woodkey there from the left. He's the second one in, counting from the left. Victor runs on our reefer side. He's been at Prime 17 years. He's a 2 million mile safe driver. He's a PSD instructor and a TNT instructor. So he does both. And Victor loves instructing students. He's got some good rules on his truck that one of them I thought was very interesting, doesn't allow use of cell phones. Now, when the truck shut down and all, yeah, you can call. I mean, when you're not driving, obviously, but when you're no cell phones at all, he doesn't want anything to do with cell phones when his truck's going down the road, which is a good principle to have, and it's a very good, safe principle. And he even does that on his own too, as well. So Victor's, been running 48 states. Victor's fleet manager up there is BJ Higdon. BJ's been with us many years as well. So, and you can see how important our fleet managers really are here at Prime. They are with our drivers. It's part of the business, and safety is part of that business as well. So let's get to our May winner. May winner is Glenn Horak. So Glenn's there to the right wearing the blue shirt. So Glenn's been at Prime 29 years, 4 million safe driving miles. Awesome guy. Earlier this month, really, I'd say about a month ago, Glenn won TCA Owner Operator of the Year. So that's a national organization he won out in Las Vegas. So he already had that as feather in his cap, and he just topped it off right here, winning Missouri Driver of the Year as well for 2021. So Glenn's fleet manager there is Jeff Alley, and does a wonderful job as well. So why don't we all give him a big round of applause to all these drivers. Great job. Unfortunately, they're not able to attend. And what was really amazing, Tuesday night we had a dinner, and all 6 drivers were there, and a couple of their spouses, and us, the safety department, fleet managers. So I said, well, what are you guys going to do tonight? And then 2 of these drivers said, well, we're going to head back home, and we're going to get back and start trucking again. And that was John Valentine and Charlie Conlee. And they could have stayed another night in a hotel, but no, you know, Charlie lives about 50 miles away and John lives in northern Arkansas. So they went back home and they got out and they're getting ready to go trucking the next morning. So they're ready to go and haul freight. And that just shows you the dedication. You know, they still got, you know, they've been doing this 28 for Charlie, 32 for John. Amazing what they do for us. And they still just committed to satisfying the customer, taking care of the customer, because they know that load needs to be delivered and they're out there doing it. So, you know, really just a good showing by all of our drivers, no doubt.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it, Dave? Those are some fantastic operators. We're super proud of them and super proud of their accomplishments. You know, Dave went pretty quick through there, you know, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million safe miles, just incredible. And we're just super proud of them. It was a good week.
It was a very good week, and topped it off here with a big basket of candy now.
There we go.
There we go. So go ahead.
Let's shift gears a little bit. You know, I think one of the things unique about Prime is, as a driver, you have a lot of opportunity, a lot of choice. You can be a lease operator, you can be a company driver, you can build your own small fleet if you like. You can be an owner operator where you actually own your truck. But when you're on the lease side, when you're on as an owner operator, there is the opportunity to earn more money than as a company driver, but there's also more risk. And I wanted to make that one of our topics today. So I'm going to ask Brian Jackson to come up. Brian's one of our fleet managers in the reefer division. And the way this came up was one of his drivers was involved in an accident. It was not his fault. I think he was parked and he ended up getting hit. And it's going to kind of turn out that he's going to be responsible for the damages for at least his portion of it because of things that Brian's going to talk about here. So I'd really like you to listen to what Brian says here and just the importance of gathering information at the accident scene. And Brian, before you kick that off, will you could just kind of introduce yourself and your background and how you got to Prime?
Morning, everyone. My name is Brian Jackson. I've been a lease fleet manager here at Prime for going on about 7 years now. So, yeah.
And where were you before you came to Prime?
You know, oddly enough, this is the first office job I've ever had. I worked in manufacturing. I was a welder for quite some time. Went to school, got my degree in psychology, and Prime kind of presented itself to me, and I've been really happy since I've been here. So
well, we appreciate having you here. Why don't you talk a little bit about your driver, the accident he was in, and then the conversation that you and I had?
Okay. It's been a while ago. The driver had to go home for some personal issues, but he parked, you know, you guys park every night at a truck stop, and he was same thing, asleep, and all of a sudden he was woke up to somebody backing into him. Well, gets out of his truck and, you know, talks to the guy. The guy seems nice enough, you know, giving him his information and whatnot. He did everything he was supposed to. He called safety, you know, and it turns out that the gentleman that backed into him did not give him the correct information, didn't give him his real name, didn't, you know, and I can't stress enough how important it is to, you know, take out that accident package you guys have. You guys should have an accident packet in your permits folder. If you don't, get with permits and they can print you out one. There's a checklist in there of everything that you need to get when you're involved in an accident. You know, we tried to file a claim with the company's insurance and they ended up denying it because, you know, we don't have the actual name of the driver. They said that he didn't work for them.
And I think we also didn't have pictures, did we, Brian?
He had pictures of his own truck, but he did not get pictures of the other guy's truck. So, you know, it really is just a bad deal all the way around. The guy shouldn't be responsible, but he is because he didn't do everything he needed to cover himself. And that's just the reality behind it. You know, we can't get with their insurance. We can't charge them for the damages done because he didn't do everything he needed to do to make sure he was covered. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, he's stuck with holding the $1,000 deductible for his tractor. I mean, and it's just a bad deal all the way around. So I can't stress how important it is to, you know, pull out that accident packet, go through the checklist. You know, if somebody does not want to show you their CDL, you know, a lot, and sorry, I'm going to dive down a different rabbit hole here. But a lot of times when you're on private property, the police will not respond, right? Because it's an accident on private property until somebody starts refusing to give you their information. That is when you should call the police, get them involved. try to get a picture of their CDL. If they won't let you, call the police. Say, hey, I'm involved in an accident on private property, but this guy's refusing to give me his information. I need some help. And that's really the steps that need to be taken to make sure that you're getting all the information you need to cover yourself. So,
the way these claims should work, and we've got a great subrogation department, and that's a fancy word for when we put a claim in against another party. And what should have happened in this case, if everything had worked right, Brian's driver was backed into by another truck. We put a claim in against that company. They pay the total claim. So there'd be no deductible. There'd be no financial impact for our driver. But I think where we really went wrong on this one, you think someone's going to tell you their right name, but as Brian said, can I see your CDL? I just want to get that information, but take a picture of that truck, get that truck number, get that DOT number, because once we have that, it's pretty hard for them to deny that it's their truck. And, and to be fair to the other company, if someone called us and said, hey, Prime, one of your drivers, Henry Smith hit our truck. And if we look at our records, we don't have that driver. If they can't give us the truck number, we're probably not likely to pay that claim either. So I'm not faulting the other company. And unfortunately, this was an expensive lesson for Brian's driver, because it's now the same as if we don't know who damaged his truck. And as a lease operator, he does have some skin in the game. So he'll pay the deductible, and then we'll pay the rest as Prime to get his truck fixed and get him back on the road. But I just thought this would be a good learning experience. We've talked about it up here, but maybe if we hear about it from a fleet manager. And the way I got involved, Brian was asking some questions. They were good questions. Well, why is the operator responsible? It was someone else that hit his truck, but it's part of being a small business owner. It would be the same with your car. If you came out to Walmart and someone had hit your car, you'd be responsible for whatever your deductible is. So don't want to be a downer with this. It doesn't happen that often, but I can't stress the importance of getting that information at the accident scene, particularly the other party. Brian said his driver got plenty of pictures, but they were all of his truck. We can get those pictures anytime. We need pictures of the other truck, that DOT number, the name of the company, the truck number. So no, he didn't. And that's a good point. Did he have a dash cam? And sometimes that's super helpful when you have a dash cam in the front of your, facing forward in the front of your tractor, but he didn't. So that's kind of how it ended up. It's not the end of the world, but we just want to make sure it doesn't happen to someone else. Any questions on that while we've got Brian up here? Pretty straightforward. Okay, Brian, appreciate you coming down today. It's good to see you. One of the neat things about these meetings is we get all sorts of speakers. And I think some of our favorite speakers are when we bring in customers, our partners out there. So I'm going to ask Dave Pfitzner to come up. Dave's in our sales department here, has been with us a long time, does a super job for us. And he's got a guest, but I'm going to turn it over to you, Dave, on who we've got.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good morning. My name's Dave Pfitzner. I'm in reefer. I'm in sales. I appreciate seeing all of the new folks in here. Welcome to the family. I see some familiar faces in too. Welcome home. Happy Easter. Happy Good Friday. From time to time we get some special people coming in. We've got a real special customer that's here today. We have a lot of issues that pop up from time to time. In this meeting, and we share that information back with our customers. And one of our good customers from Tyson, come on up, Phil. They're very big for us. Over the last 10 years, they've been first in our customer ranking, second. So they go back and forth, first and second. But for the most, they're always there for us. And they always listen to what we have to say. And, some of the things that come up, we've shared. And Phil wanted to come up and share with you all some of the things that they're doing and just try to get any kind of feedback from you all if there's anything they can do better. So Phil Van Hook, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you. I have some notes here because I tend to wander around. I'm going to try to stay in the same spot. I'm like a Baptist preacher. I tend to walk around and get off topic. But just a few things. The new folks that are here for Prime, let me just say you're in great hands. You're going to get the very best training, but I'm going to tell you, when they come to the table, they're fighting for their drivers every single time we negotiate, okay? And I want you to know that as a shipper, we respect that and love that. But we have the highest respect for Prime, and just you new drivers, you're in great hands. One, thank you for the invite. I always get to learn from the trucking professionals. We as a Tyson, the private fleet, which I'm responsible for, we are probably the size of an eraser compared to the size of Prime, but we get to learn from the trucking professionals and always get the opportunity to come up here and enjoy the time I get to spend. So thank you for Prime for the opportunity to come up. My name is Phil Van Hook. I have responsibility for the Tyson private fleet. I've been there 30 years. I was talking over there. At 30 years, I was loading Prime trucks several years ago, going to California out of our little RDC distribution center there in Russellville. So long history with Prime, both inside your trailers and outside your trailers, negotiating this stuff. So just a well-respected company. On behalf of Tyson Foods, I want to thank Prime for your dedication, for your partnerships over the many, many, many years. 30 years for me is a long time. You heard the 52 years. So thank you to Prime. Thank you to the drivers that serve Tyson Foods. But I'm going to tell you, serving America. These last 2 years, and I know that may become a little bit off. I don't know how everybody perceives of it, but trucking absolutely served America. If you go look at those grocery stores, even today, there's shelves and there's pressure on Tyson Foods to make sure that those shelves are full again. And they're not always full. Sometimes we're a little short-staffed in our plants. But from Prime, who is our largest capacity carrier, y'all have served America and served America well. Thank you for that. Thank you. Can I get some slides? Next one. I cannot see that for nothing, but what we're going to do is we just shared this with Prime, and these are just some locations. We talked about, I heard of parking a while ago at truck stops. These are some locations around Tyson Network. Most all of our locations, not all, but most all of our locations have secure, fenced-in parking. I would tell you in 2023, we are doing our capital budgets right now. There's a lot of investment around lighting, fencing, parking. I know if you've been in that reefer division very long at all, been to a Tyson location, there's some locations they needed repaired 10 years ago. I see some nods back there. And we know that. We love the feedback because if it's affecting Prime drivers, it's affecting my Tyson fleet drivers as well. So that feedback is well warranted, but these are locations feel free to park at. We're going to provide some little bit better infrastructure in the coming years. We're going to try to take that under our umbrella as transportation, just so we are secure and you have some good places to park. Go to the next one, please. Okay, so kind of look at this, and then I'm going to overlay it with another slide right next. So these are all of our plants, distribution centers across our entire network. This has the fresh poultry, the fresh pork, the frozen prepared DCs as well, the fresh beef, and you can see it is pretty much, you go Denver, Colorado, and head east, it's pretty thick. And that is our primary areas that we try to stay in, and we move our internal freight within ourselves. We are, as a private fleet, we do about 96% of our internal moves, and that includes everything from the meats to the packaging to your peppers, salts, what have you. So if you look at this is kind of the lanes. I'm sure most of you are aware of all this. And if you go to the next slide. So if you kind of overlay that, so this is what we're going to call the distribution network of the future. And we have these large distribution centers. If I work myself across the map in the East Coast, Pottsville, PA will serve the upper Northeast. That in the red there, we have an Indianapolis cold storage up there now. We are building one. We'll break ground in the next 2 years, where we're going to have the largest 120,000 pallet position up in around the Indiana area. We just kind of searched it out the last few months, and we'll make a decision on a location and greenfield in the next few months. Illinois serves the Illinois, then the upper Minnesota, Wisconsin area. That's Rochelle. Then you have Olathe that serves that pink area, Olathe, Kansas. There at TDC, you have the Arkansas and surrounding states. Down there in Fort Worth, the Texas, kind of the Arizona side. It's a big group for us. You love that place, huh? And then in Utah, we're going to be placing a larger facility out there to serve the West Coast. that'll serve a lot of the West Coast, and then we'll get on up into the Idaho area before long as well. So,
Hey, and Phil, you know, we've got that new facility out there in Salt Lake that we've got, you know, we're going to be doing some business
you've
there,
mentioned
right?
that you've
Huh?
mentioned that before, Dave. So yeah. And what I mentioned earlier, that they fight for their drivers, that's part of it. I get a little ding on that all the time. So this is going to be the future. And when you look at that, what we want to do there is we want to get as close to our customers as possible and serve that frozen business out of our distribution centers. But if you go back to that one slide right before that, all of those plants that are on the poultry side, we have to serve those distribution centers. So if all of those plants serve something, it may be a Walmart, a Target, what have you, a Kroger in the frozen side. So those plants make that, but they're going to have to be going to serve all those distribution points that I just pointed out. So our lanes are going to change, but relatively speaking, you see the future of where we're trying to go. I'm limited to time because I can go and talk. Okay, well, I'll take some questions. What I would tell you is anything you need. What I said earlier, when our drivers and the prime drivers kind of have issues, we want to hear about it so we can fix them. So this is an open invitation. Get with your fleet manager, have your fleet manager run with Dave, and they'll get with us to try to fix your problems. Because last thing we want you to do is have a problem at one of our facilities, get hurt one of our facilities.
You know, Steve Woodkey is not here today, and he would tell you all that, you know, our first and foremost, our highest calling is safety. And I think Phil would tell you that there is no load of Tyson's that's more important than your safety and the people around you. So I think you'd agree with me, right?
I spoke to our orientation class yesterday, and I'll tell you, when you put a load of Tyson product in the back of your trailer, what is it? Not chicken, it's beef, it's pork, it's dead. It's dead. So for you to sacrifice your life on something that's dead, don't do that. That's what I want you to realize. Stuff in the back is dead. Any questions? Hey, I'll stick over around here. I'd love to field some questions or just some thoughts. I brought my notebook. I want to write stuff down. I want to get stuff fixed. I can promise you we don't fix everything overnight, but we're going to put a lot of money to getting our facilities right as far as not having to park in a muddy old pit.
I know you guys got some questions because I get some questions from time to time.
Back in January, I had a claim. It was Tyson to Tyson. I mean, I'm curious, why couldn't, if it's a claim from Tyson to Tyson, why couldn't the second Tyson just take the product off my truck and dispose of it?
I'm assuming you mean like a stock transfer, or was it a fresh load?
It was outdated pork from one Tyson to another.
Okay, was it on the beef or the poultry side? I hate to ask this many questions. I'm just.
It was, I believe it was pork.
Okay, and that makes more sense. Okay, so two things we're trying to do. You have that beef pork OS&D, you have the poultry OS&D. We need to clean that up and get that into one and help our drivers and our contractors to get moving a little faster. From that point of view, it's just their process. From a poultry side, on a whip load, we're going to do exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
It's either going to go the shipper or the receiver. We're trying to change that.
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
they left it on my truck and it took me 2 days to dispose of 16,000 pounds of pork.
We need to know that, and we
Yeah, I'll
will
get the details after the meeting and we
Okay.
can make sure that.
Hey, it's a great question. It's a huge rub with us as well.
Yeah, my question was, down at Russellville, they have signs around the yard. If your trailer's too high, call this number. We'll send a yard dog around. We need those signs at more places. Because if we go in and pick up combo loads, they always jack the combo loads way up to let the blood run out. And when you got a 40,000 and you're trying to jack that thing down.
You said Russellville on a combo load.
No, I said Russellville, they have these signs around the yard.
Yeah, I was thinking
And I didn't
maybe.
mean them as a combo load. I just meant that other places, they'll jack the trailers up to let the blood run out.
great call out. What I would tell you there is you're right. We need more signs, and we just started pushing those out. And that's some feedback we've got. We've got the signs back. What is that intended for? For us, our second largest injury for a driver last year is crank handles. And that's the most archaic piece of equipment in the trucking industry is a crank handle. But in saying that, we want to, our drivers, we put our crank handles to red. We painted them red. That means stop if you started getting some of that issue. On those signs, we can get more signs. TBDC, I'm assuming? Was it TBDC? Okay, we'll get some more signs. That is intended for a use that if you have a problem with your crank handle, if they're always parked too tight at a Tyson facility, have someone come out there with a yard dog to get that lifted up. And if they come out there with some sort of attitude as a yard driver, I want to feedback on that as well, because yeah, that's great. I want that feedback because their manager needs to know they're here to serve and not become a jerk about stuff. We hear that a little bit, and I'm gonna take that back. I know that's TBDC. The plant manager worked there. We used to load trucks together. He has an open ear to me, I believe. Good, thank you. Well, thank you all for the time. I promise you guys are in great hands with this company.
Bill, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it. You know, it is great having our customers here. And, as Phil and Dave both talked about, there's a long, good relationship between Prime and Tyson. It goes both ways. We know we can count on Tyson when we need freight or something's come up, and Tyson knows they can count on us when they need freight moved. So, thank you, Phil, for being here. And thanks, Dave, for introducing him to us. I think we've got just a couple of minutes here before we get to our couple final speakers. Terry and Matt, you guys want to come on up? We had them up last week, but it is tax season. I'll give you guys just a couple of minutes here as we're kind of heading into, push here with tax season. So it's time.
Well, again, awesome job. Awesome job making the decision to come here, because you came here because you wanted to what? Make money, right? That's what you want to do. That's it. Why in the world is the CPA firm up here talking at a safety meeting? Why would we be up here? Well, as you're learning about how to be safe on the road, how to do the best thing for you, how to take care of your trucks, okay, that's what you need to do in order to continue to make money. You also need that financial safety as well. That's why we're here, is to help you walk through that, help you keep as much of that money as you possibly can. You earned it, you should keep it, right? So you need to have a plan, and you need to be prepared to be able to keep that money, okay? So Matt's going to talk about a couple of dates that you need to know to be prepared.
Important dates at that. So first one up, typically April 15th is the filing deadline. Obviously today happens to be April 15th. Fortunately this year, federal holiday today. So we're pushing that file. We are not. The IRS is pushing that filing back.
We'd push it even further. Yeah.
It's pushing that back to the 18th. So Monday's going to be that big day. Now keep in mind, if you need to file an extension, get with your tax professional, CPA, accountant, whoever you're working with. If you are needing assistance with that, Abacus can definitely help. Come up and see us. We're right above the cafeteria here. Phone number should be online. We can get you help with that extension. Keep in mind though, especially for lease operators out there, that filing extension is great for the filing, pushes it back to October 17th. If there is going to be an amount owed, a balance due, try to get a payment in. Even if you're not filing, that payment deadline is still going to be April 18th. So that's a big one. And then same thing, lease operators, anyone with a spouse maybe that has a business or business on the side even, estimated payments. So that estimated payment deadline also happens to be April 18th.
For your first quarter.
It's a big day. First quarter, April 18th. And then keep in mind, quick turnaround on that second quarter as well. April and May is second quarter. That payment's going to be June 15th.
Yep.
So beginning of the year is a busy time.
Yep.
But cannot stress that enough. Get that filing in, get that extension in if you know you're not going to be able to. And it's crucial, Terry, right?
Absolutely. You need to get that done, because Did you know there are some states that, they really want that money? They really want that money, and they will go to great lengths. There are some states that will pull your CDL. One of those is Louisiana. They'll pull your CDL. If you have a tax liability and it's not getting paid, that's what they'll do. They'll also pull your hunting and fishing license. So, they're making you stay home and they're not giving you anything to do. So, just kind of be in mind of that. There are states that will do things. Also, the penalties are going to be quite high. So make sure that you're taking care of that. Now, also, this year is the last year that you can file if you have back taxes that you haven't filed, 2018. If you think you could be possibly getting a refund for 2018, if it's not filed by April 18th, you will lose that refund. You will not ever be able to claim that refund for 2018. So if you haven't filed, yes, there are people that haven't filed. It's okay. We can help you with that. Come see us, okay?
And then a final note that I'd just like to end on, speaking of lease, if you are upgrading,
Yes.
highly recommend, get the protection of an LLC. Make sure you have that separation there. Set up that business entity, especially if you want to start building some business credit, have some protection from a legal standpoint. LLC is a phenomenal route to go. Abacus can help with that as well. So if you have any questions with that, filing, what an LLC is, why you should have one, definitely let us know.
Yep. That's it.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Terry.
Good job.
I'm so excited to invite Terry and Matt up here. I really forgot to explain exactly who they are. I apologize for that. They work for Abacus Financial Planners. They're located right upstairs. They're part of the Prime family. They're not Prime associates. They are one option you have for keeping your finances straight. They're not the only game in town. They're a good game in town. They've been partnering with Prime for a long time. They do a great job. My concern is just make sure you have a plan to pay your taxes. As Matt said last week, maybe the one positive of paying taxes is it means you're working, you're making money. So that's a good thing. So whether you use Abacus, you use someone else, you do it yourself, please don't let your tax liability get untaken care of, because they will catch you. The government will catch up with you.
You don't want to get with the IRS. That's
No,
for
you
sure.
don't.
No, go through them definitely. So
No, you don't. One thing, when Dave Pfitzner was up here, he mentioned our facility in Salt Lake City. We built a fantastic facility out there. We're ready to grow it. We've got a lot going on there. Today, we're lucky to have Tyler Patrick. So if Tyler will come up, Tyler worked here in our road assist department for years. I think someone noticed, hey, this guy's a mover and a shaker. So we kicked him out and sent him to Salt Lake City, and he's doing wonderful things out there. So what's going on in Salt Lake, Tyler?
Well, thanks, Steve. Just starting out, thank you guys for having me. It's good to be back here in Springfield for the week, see all some familiar faces and a bunch of these new faces. So as much as I'd like to get up here and talk all day, looks like we got to get back to the shop and get some trucks ready, because there's going to be some people needing to see some trucks. So just a couple things I want to talk about. As the trucking industry changes, as we start to see these equipment delays and parts delays and shortages in the industry on places to get our trucks fixed, we as the shop managers, I'll just introduce myself. I'm the shop manager out in Salt Lake City. So as we try to move towards getting trucks available, getting you guys back on the road, we have built a lot of capacity in a lot of areas. So for instance, here in Springfield, we could have a delayed appointments for getting you booked in the shop here. It could be 5 days, 6 days, something like that, an extended repair time where you're waiting around in the yard trying to figure out what you're going to do. Fleet manager might be hounding you to get something done so we can get back on the road and start generating revenue. So in Salt Lake City, for instance, right now, we're booking for later today. All right. We've got appointments. Pittston, Pennsylvania, out there, Jason Berry and his crew, they're booking for Saturday evening. So whenever you come and you're needing these repairs, maybe you're not in the ideal area, but work with your fleet manager, shoot in a macro 21 to road assist, or just reach out to these shops directly. We'd be more than happy to try and work you towards those directions, somewhere we might be able to get those trucks in, get that trailer fixed for you, book that appointment, get your body work done. We've got a lot of great things out in Salt Lake City. We're building a great team out there. We're anxious for some Western operations to increase. So, partnering with people like Tyson out here in Saratoga Springs, that Eagle Mountain plant down south, we're really looking forward to some of that increased traffic out there. But, we're chomping at the bit, ready for work. We're ready to help. Summertime's coming up. We got a lot of things to get ready for that. I know we're talking about safety in winter and things like that, but summertime's right around the corner, and that's something we don't want to forget. So making sure that, as we're preparing to be safe and be successful drivers, making sure that equipment is also safe and ready to be successful. So, doing your daily pre-trips, utilizing our assessment bays. Here in Springfield and Salt Lake City, we've got assessment bays. You can bring your truck in. It's free of charge. We'll go through it and find any issues with it and let you know. You can take that information from there. You can take it to an outside shop. You can bring it back to us if we have those appointments available. But it kind of gives you an idea of what you're going to need to get your truck safe and DOT worthy so we can maintain it, be safe out on the highways. Another thing I wanted to touch on is coming up here May 17th through May 19th is the CVSA road check. All right. And this year they have a focus on wheel ends. So every year they have these different targets that they try and focus on to make sure that the industry's safe. They enforce the agents out on the road. These DOT inspections are going to ramp up. So what you guys need to do now is start thinking about that, preparing on, hey, I need to get through a shop, get my truck checked out before the road check starts out. And they're going to have this increased, task force working through the weekend to try and dial in any issues that they have with wheel ends. Now, that's not something that we really have an issue here with Prime. We work great with our vendors back here, working with specking our trucks so that we have the most optimal equipment we can out on the road for you guys. We change different products out, we test them, we trial them. So whenever we order these trucks, they're ready to make the long haul for you guys. So we really don't have a wheel end problem. I'll tell you, we used to with wheel ends leaking, wheel seals and things like that, but we've really dialed it in with a lot of products. But as they're checking their wheel ends, they're going to be looking at brakes. They're going to be looking for air leaks. They're going to be looking for oil and coolant leaks. So now's the time as you guys are training, you're showing your trainees how to inspect your truck. Make sure we're paying attention to these things and we can get them resolved before we're on the side of the road in inspection, having an issue, DOT coming back to you. Clean inspection is also $100, right? That's money in your guys' pocket. Being prepared, that's just an easy paycheck right there. Couple other things. Let's think here. Man, I had so much I want to talk about. Bodywork, yeah, absolutely. So we've got a body shop out there. We do paint and touch-ups. If you guys getting a little fender bender, by all means, come see us. Cody out there, be more than happy to talk to you. Reach out. We're more than happy to bring your truck in, get you a quote. A lot of times we can even, just by pictures, we can go ahead and get parts ordered, get an appointment date set for you. So that way we're not waiting around too long. Once your truck's down, we can get it in, we can get it out and get you back up on the road.
Any questions for Tyler? He can take shop questions, Salt Lake City questions, anything for him. We got a quiet
real
group.
quick. Over here.
Over where?
Over here.
Oh.
To the left.
Oh, hey, Mitch.
Hey, guys. Charles wants to know when Pro Maintenance is going to come to Salt Lake City.
That's what it was, Pro Maintenance. So Salt Lake City is probably the last on the list to get Pro Maintenance. Justin and our Road Assist team are working really hard to get it set up in Pittston, Pennsylvania. We've got a few maintenance advisors out there that are willing to tackle that challenge and help you guys out. Pro Maintenance is a great program. Here in Springfield, we teach it every Tuesdays and Thursdays. For all you newer associates, maybe don't have the best knowledge of, mechanics and things like that, we'll bring you in, we'll do a classroom environment, talk to you about some of the things that you can look for out on the road, some of the things with your equipment, get you more familiar with it. The second part of that class, we're going to take you up to our training facility. We're going to get like hands-on modules. We're going to actually show you how to change a mud flap. We're going to show you how to change a light bulb, do some of these simple repairs that can be very, very expensive out over the road. We see some of these labor rates go up $120, $130, $140 an hour. Anything you guys can do to offset those costs and keep that money in your pocket is going to be beneficial in the long run. So Pro Maintenance is a great way to do that. As the Road Assist team grows and as Primer grows, we're going to increase, our maintenance advisors in Salt Lake City. And whenever that happens, that's most likely when we'll reintroduce the Pro Maintenance class out there. But Pittston, Pennsylvania will be the next one to get that for sure.
All right, Tyler. It's always good seeing you.
Off easy. Thank you, guys.
Have a safe drive home.
Thanks, Tyler. Hey, any idea about maybe moving back here, getting away from Troy Rich and those folks out there? They're not going to let you go. I can see why, no doubt about it. Go ahead, Steve.
Before we bring up our last speaker, a couple of things I just wanted to kind of close with on my portion, and I never want to forget to do this, so I'll do it first. If you served in the armed forces, we've got a lot of heroes around here, but our veterans are special. If you served in the armed forces, would you stand so we could recognize you this morning, please? We do have a bunch of special folks in the back. We've got all our vendors. These are outside folks, part of the Prime family, the manufacturers, the trucks, the trailers, the APUs. So that's another good tool for you. You can work through your Road Assist advisor. If you've got a persistent problem, if you think it hasn't been taken care of at a shop out there, this is just another layer of help that we have available for you. So appreciate our vendors being here today. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. One more announcement Dave reminded me of. Next Friday here in Springfield, we're having our truck driving championship. We normally have that with our picnic on Labor Day, but we need to get a team together for the June state truck driving championship. So the only requirement is you have a CDL. So for our new folks, we'll get you next year, but everyone is welcome to participate. It's going to be 5 o'clock next Friday on the pad. We're looking for a good turnout, get a good team together. Dave's always the chaperone. He'll take you down to the state championship. Hopefully he'll take at least a couple to Indianapolis for the nationals this year. One more thing real quick here. We have what's called the app on our phone. Most of you are probably familiar with it. If you have questions about it, if something just doesn't seem right, after the meeting, if you'll see Richard and Brianne over here, they'll help you with your phone, with the app. If something's wrong, they're a great source, and we're very appreciative to have them, because I can tell you this app is a game changer. Last thing I'll say before bringing up our final guest is, we heard it from Phil with Tyson. No load is worth you getting hurt out there. As I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, there is danger involved in trucking. There's a lot of people out there driving unsafely. There's challenging weather. You heard Dave talk about it. Please, if you're uncomfortable out there due to the weather, you're tired, get with your fleet manager, communicate that, but park the truck. We'll work on that load. We just don't want you to get hurt out there, and we don't want to hurt other people on the highway or our equipment or the precious freight that we're hauling. It's a tough call to make. Well, I don't know. I think I can make it. I don't want to let anyone down. We get that, and we appreciate that. But more important than that is that you don't get hurt out there and we don't hurt other people. So develop that rapport with your fleet manager that he or she knows when you call in and say, this weather, it's just not worth it right now. I got it. I understand. I'm going to get with sales. We're going to push that appointment back. You find a safe place to park, and we'll finish this load when the weather clears. So important that you have that rapport with your fleet manager. I mentioned at the very beginning of the meeting, we've been around 52 years. I'd like to bring up Robert Lowe. He's our founder and president. 52 years later, he's still here.
No. Phil, thank you very much. We appreciate your business. We appreciate our partnership. Tyson is just, they're stand-up folks. I remember way back, and this is just damn near 52 years ago, they're one of my first direct customers, and they're still around. They haven't kicked us out yet, and I'm sure hoping they don't. So we appreciate every load and all your help in the partnership. Folks, Ben, it's good to see you. This is a holiday for a lot of people, but we're in here. Y'all are in here working, and we appreciate you being here. We thank you for choosing Prime. So for our new folks, I'm your family now. Don't try to run off. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to come find you. Fetch you back here. And for hands that have been around, I'm not gonna say old hands, because just folks that have been here for a while. Bill, stand up, show them. And if Bill's one of the best, yeah, appreciate him. Appreciate all our drivers very much. Few basic things that we really take seriously that we owe you. We owe you a safe and healthy environment. And we work really hard at that. And you've heard a lot about safety. We owe you the opportunity to make a good living. The more bank we can make, the more we like it. I'll say that right in front of a customer. We like making some bank. Can I have an amen on making some bank? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're willing to work hard and do that the right way in order to achieve our financial goals. The most important thing, however, and this has been sorely lacking, and I'm sure Phil would testify to this too, in this industry, we owe you respect. We owe you respect. It's very, very important that we show you respect with every interface with company management, whether it's a night fleet manager or someone on the fuel desk or anyone here, in the North Star Grill here over at Campus Inn, we owe you respect. And I expect you to be treated respectfully. Drivers don't get the respect that they truly deserve. As Phil said again during the pandemic, you all kept this nation going. You made a lot of sacrifices, a lot of risk to do that. that you kept this nation going and well-fed and pharmaceuticals and all the other stuff that we need and that we just take for granted. Well, it shouldn't be taken for granted because it was a great effort, a great sacrifice that you all did this. And truckers have always done it. Finally, I think that we're starting to get the respect that we need, that we deserve because of your performance during the pandemic. So, I appreciate you being here. I want you to be safe out there because that truly is our highest calling. If I can be of service to you in any way, let me know. God bless you and please be safe.